How's it? So now that we've created our song, you're gonna be making a CD case and design. So if you look on the class website, you'll see Photoshop template download, and after you download those files, you can see a whole a range of files here. You should have 5 of them. I'm gonna basically go through what each of them mean. First of all, if you actually take a CD and take the booklet out, there's actually a booklet here that gets inserted here. So this is a booklet. So first of all, you have the front and back of your booklet, and that is shown here. Okay, and so in your booklet, I have hid the layers here in blue, but you can see those. On the right side is the front cover of your booklet, and on the other side is the back cover of the booklet. Okay, on the front cover, it needs to have a photograph of yourself because you're the featured artist. It has to be a photo specifically taken just for this assignment. So it has to be a recent picture taken specifically due to be displayed on here. So don't go to your Facebook and try to find a picture. Make sure that your CD name, the name of your song is on there, and also your artist name, and if you feature anybody in it. Okay, so this is the front. This middle blue line is just a guide. You hit Command R, and then you can actually make more guides if you want. They won't be shown when you print it or if you file save as, but they're just there to help you. If you don't want it, just go to View, and you can hit Clear Guides, and they'll all disappear, just like me in 10 minutes or sooner. So that's the front cover. The other ones is the inside pages. Okay, the inside pages basically the same thing. Okay, here's the example of the inside pages. Now your inside pages, first of all, it needs to have your shadow collage that you made in class before as a tutorial. You can like use it in a lot of different ways and disguise it. Another thing you need to have is your lyrics. Okay, your lyrics have to be, and it's really important that your lyrics are really clearly shown. I've had students who use like this dark font, and it's really hard to see, and it's in a dark background. So make sure that it's really clear. Make sure you use font that's really easily read. Sometimes it's good to put a stroke around it if there's two colors that are similar. Like if the font color is similar to the background color, a stroke around it should help pop it out. Careful with a drop cap. I wouldn't do a drop shadow on it. Just too much black on it. So other things you can include is like a special thanks section. That's usually included. Just information about the artist if you want, but just be creative. Like sky's the limit for the inside cover. Look at other artists in terms of like maybe a CDs that you have in your room and see what they put in for their inside information. And then moving right along, we get to our CD label. Okay, our CD label looks like this, and if you look, your CD label is, ta-da, it's like a circle shape. Now to get this circle shape, it's a little bit tricky. So let's say we do some brush work. Okay, so we're like shading in this cool design, and notice I don't really, it can bleed off the edge. Remember when we did the shadow collage and we bled off the edges and then we cropped them? It's basically the same thing. And so you can like insert and fill the color. So I'm going to go edit, fill. I'm going to choose a color that I want. I'm going to choose maybe this green. Okay. I'm going to put that behind. Let's say that's my design, which is kind of crazy. So after I have my designs, you're going to go up to your marquee, and you're going to choose this elliptical marquee. It looks like a circle, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to hide your designs, and you're going to actually make a marquee. Hold on the space bar and hold on the mouse button as you place the marquee over the circle and try to get it exact, okay? So once you have that, you let go, hit Shift Command I, because that selects everything outside that circle. Now we can go back to our designs and click layer 1, and hit delete, hit layer 2, hit delete, and then we have our circle. Okay, and then if you want the middle circle, you do the same thing, except you don't need to inverse it. Alright, so that's how you can do this part. In terms of what you can have on there, it's totally up to you. Some people put the name. Some people I've seen like John Bay. He put a basketball. But remember, when you put images, they have to be taken by you. Um, like John Bay, he actually took a photograph of his basketball, and it actually has his name and marker on the basketball, and so I know he took that picture. But just make sure that all the pictures you use for your CD that you have taken or that you've directed somebody to take. Like you said, hey, this is a shot I want you to take of me. So for example, this is David Suz. And let's see, grab his. So he said, hey, I want this for you, and then he was going to use this as like a CD cover because this is the kind of mood that he wanted to use for his CD. Now, make sure like pictures like this off the internet, like a stock photo and things like this. Again, you cannot use these on your CD. Now, if there is something like this where you have a soccer ball and you can't take a picture of it and you want to use it for something small like a stamp or something, just ask in some cases. I know one student wanted to do use a image of when she was a baby because her song was about growing up. So there are cases where I'll approve a photo. Just ask if it's necessary, and then I'll evaluate and let you know. But something to consider when choosing like your designs for your CD is color. Color is very important. It's important to choose some good color designs. Let's look at the back cover first. Okay, so the back cover is here. It's usually the back of the CD case, and so make sure you include like your barcode. Okay, sometimes people put some copyright information down here to make it look more professional, or like a record label. You need to especially include the name of the song and then your name somewhere, and also try to include the running time so I can make sure you're in the time parameters. But also one thing to keep in mind, if you look at the examples that they have, notice that you have these left and these right sides on the guides showing the artist name and things. Okay, that's right here actually. So this is this information, and it's actually on both sides. So don't forget about that, and that's on for the back cover only. Now, if you look at the front cover, or sorry, the front of the back cover, and you're like, now what is this? I'm confused. Don't worry. See, this is the back of the front cover, and this is the front of the back cover. So go here. So for this, you just have to put in your designs. You don't really need this part right here because you've already made that for the back cover. And again, for this design, it could be anything you want to. So feel free to explore. But there, so we've covered each part of the CD and the elements that you need. And so I'm really looking to see how well you incorporate what you've learned and complement it with your great sounding song that you made. Now, a lot of planning has been put into your CD design. Like we have been planning for a long time, especially in class. And so you should already have an idea of what you are going to do for your designs. Remember you guys did some research, you brought in some CDs and you looked on the internet for some designs, and so that gave you ideas. Then you decided what you wanted to do, and so this is an example of a rough draft that he turned in. And so he already has like his color scheme and he has his like designs, and notice that the colors are very similar when he turned it in to what you see. And so he did a lot of planning for this, like before, you know. And so that I believe is the hard work in terms of getting those ideas. So now he's ready to design. So when you come into a class and the calendar says that you're supposed to be doing a certain section, so let's say it's the front cover, you should have your rough draft in hand, already know what you're going to be doing, already have the images you're going to be using, and just sit down and be able to do it. So what you're only given the amount of class time in class to design your CD case and designs. Okay, you aren't allowed to work on this at home or outside of this class. If you're absent, you can make up that same amount of time that you missed in class, but it has to be at school. And if there is a complication, like you're not able to, just talk with me and I can work with you on that. But I'm stressing that it has to be done in class each section. So, for example, let's say the front cover here, it says doing it's assigned a certain day and you have to do that. So you come in, sit down, design it to the best you can with the amount of minutes that you have allotted, and then before the class ends, you need to save it, put up save it a print screen or save it as a JPEG, and put up your file. It's a great idea to put up the Photoshop file too if it's not too big, and then also the JPEG so you have a backup copy. And so we really need to be efficient with your time. This also, in terms of doing it this way, this helps to see if you really know Photoshop and to make sure that you're the one who's doing it, doing the work, and not somebody else. And so this is going to let me see just your thinking style in terms of how you think through and design your project. And then each time after you have made a design, okay, you need to ask somebody to comment on it. Now, whenever you make a design, it's never like perfect or great the first time, and so you need to like learn from others, like what advice that they can give you to help improve. So after you've posted it, then that same day or later that night, you need to ask somebody, hey, could you just comment, see how I can improve? And you need to have that comment done by the next day, anytime that during the next day. So, and they can't just be comments like, "Oh, that was a great job." No, ask them to really challenge you. Say, "Hey, how can I improve this? Like, what part of this would you change, or what could I do to improve?" Like, that's what you need to emphasize on. And so, make sure they do that. And again, they don't have to have a Postures account. They can have like a Twitter account or a Facebook account or even a Postures account to log into this to make a comment. And so, look at those comments and learn from those, because I believe peer editing or peer viewing can be some of the best ways of improving as a student. For example, remember if you go to cooler.com, KULER.com, it'll come to Adobe. And from here, you can select the color scheme that you want to use. You can use somebody else's theme. If you see a theme that you want, just click on this little icon, and then you can see the different colors. You can change the base colors just by selecting it. These three numbers are the key RGB. Those are the key numbers you want to either write down, or in this case, we're going to print screen. Like once you find a color scheme that you like, you're going to hit Command Shift 4, and then you're going to do a box around this part, including the numbers, the colors, and the color wheel up here. Because in Photoshop, notice if you have a number like, if you double click on the color, you'll see the RGB numbers, 2755102. If you change these numbers, you can actually get the exact color that you're looking for your colors. Now, it's important not to just select random colors. There are a bunch of color rules that you probably learned in middle school. For example, there's complementary colors, and if you want to change the shades, you can just click and rotate, but notice that the rule stays the same. If you want harder colors, you can extend it out. Okay, so you can try those. There's like triads, so notice that it's more of a triangular colors. I kind of like shades. It gives you different types of shades, and you can change that. You can also experiment with an image. So if David took a picture and he wants to use like this image and pull out these colors, he could actually go into Cooler here and go in and like line up these dots to those colors he's looking for and use those. So it's something to explore, but once you have it done, put a print screen on it, upload it to your Postures, and put it on the spreadsheet so I can check out your colors. But back to the design, I kind of really like Sang's designs here. Notice that it's really color, the colors are really consistent, okay? So if I was to have all these booklets all mixed up and I had like 20 of them, I could easily recognize what CD goes with what. That's what I'm looking for that.